Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of TonyTalks, Get Up and Grow, where I have conversations with inspirational leaders, influencers, and change makers, people that aren't just doing well in life, but that are doing good in the world. And today I bring to you, again, for 5 or 6 Saturdays in a row, a good friend of mine, someone who is out there changing the world by helping people get out of pain. It's the one and only Brian Bradley from Egoscue. Now, Brian helps so many people, from celebrities to athletes, professional athletes. He's also the body for Tony Robbins, which is how we became friends and how we met many years ago. And I've been blessed and fortunate to have him in my life, and he helps me out a lot when I'm in pain. So without further ado, he is in the green room. We actually went late today because Tony Robbins was just on the live shot, so I didn't want to step on that. So here we go. Bringing Brian Bradley on. There he is. I think he's on. Wait. There he is. Man, and you got the cool glasses on today.
When you sit this many hours in front of a computer, I need something to quit beating the heck out of my eyes.
Yeah, well, I just decided to wear a baseball cap today because you're usually beating me up anyway. So I figured I'd be a little more casual today.
I know we're going to get right into what people want to talk about, but there's a couple things that I think we ought to touch upon, which is I went into these things the other day during a talk with someone, and they were, asking me about, their gut and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys have or ever done the Viome test.
I haven't, but we spoke about this the last time I was with you. That's where you see what's going on in your digestive system, right?
Yeah, because a lot of people they'll get a blood test done, but there's something different about getting what fecal matter actually does. Now, I know just enough to be dangerous about health, but I'm really dangerous when it comes to poop. So, I will tell you that mixed with, that's what I gave out for Christmas gifts last year. The year before, I gave out the squatty potty. So, I must have a poop fetish. But in my opinion, if you're not pooping correctly, to me, that's a very much indicative of your overall health. So a couple things we can talk about today is this book, You Can Fix Your Brain, the Viome test to test out your gut biome. And then we can also touch upon a book called The Oxygen Advantage, which is something Pete Egoscue and I were talking about the other day in regards to, sorry about my chair, this thing has never had 200 pounds of twisted steel in it for 40 days like I'm sitting in it. That's what I try to call myself. But a lot of things like that, along with the glasses, nice. Little hacks like this can make a huge difference. Using the lack of blue light, what do you call it, the filter that's on your computer. I have natural light coming in from 6 windows. If I'm going to sit in this office all day, outside we were painting fences today using that Wagner power sprayer, which thing's a beast. But these are the day walkers from True Dark. And here's another one called, I don't know what the exact name of these are. These are like around dusk. These are the ones that I wear if I want to look like Tom Selleck, just only not as pretty.
You got to grow the big handlebar mustache.
That's true, but these are the ones that block. I think this is 70% blue and white light blocked. So if I look at something like this, it's a little lighter. If I look at something like this, it's really red. Like if I could hold it up to the screen, you can probably see, how red that is.
Yeah, that is really red. It looks like everybody's sunburnt.
These.
Wow.
Or this is full on. Oh, it's red. This is like the guy from X-Men. That's.
Oh yeah, you're shooting lasers out of your eyes with that thing.
Exactly. And listen, I don't wear those outside. And you know me, I don't care what other people say, but these day walkers they literally just take, and I don't get anything from this company, by the way. But it's like, I've been around long enough, age-wise, but also around other people who are asking, hey, Brian, what do you do? Look, you're in your 50s. You can touch your toes, palms down almost anytime you want. Your digestion is this. You eat whatever the hell you feel like it. No, you're not 4% body fat, which I told them I am, but it's just one of my arms is 4% body fat. There's another 4 here. There's an 8 here. There's probably a 12 here. I'm up around 45% body fat. But it's ideal that you be a leader, you be a person for people not to look up to, but to look to as it relates to what are you doing to be better as you get older. And that's one of the big keys that I have to look at here is, I feel like it's an obligation. I can't just be this person who sits around on my ass all day and doesn't live the words that I'm speaking. So I'm going to show you a video here. I don't know if you could share. Can you share a YouTube link on this screen? Like, can you go?
I can. I don't know that I can share yours. So if you want to give me,
well,
send me the link in the private chat. You see on the top right-hand corner of your screen, it says private chat. Or you can text it to me if you want.
I'll do it right now, just so people can know what it is. You go to YouTube and search this. This guy is a strength coach out of Canada. Very good guy. I've been around him in the golf world for a long time. Good, funny dude. And, he was training hockey players and golfers, and he was doing high-intensity interval training. And then he came down and said, Brian, everybody's been telling me I want to see what your patch is all about, your obstacle course. Egoscue has one where Pete Egoscue came up with the obstacle course idea because he's a Marine. And when John Lynch and Tony Baselli and John Allred and all these different players said to him, will you take us to the gym? He's like, first of all, I'm not insulting the personal trainers by going to the gym and pretending I know what I'm doing, which I thought was a pretty cool, humble statement. When I've known nobody smarter about the human body. This guy's amazing. But he said, why don't we go and do what I did in the Marines? So you have to negate the jackass music that's in there because it's perfect for the two of us that were on there. But if you skip forward to about the 3-minute point.
Yep, hold on.
3-minute point. Yeah, whatever you can share on there. And as long as, we can see it. Yep. And just hit play and just
you want to go to the 3-minute mark?
Yeah, go to the 3-minute point.
I'll start around 2:55.
Go back just a little bit. Yeah, right there is good. Right where we're doing bear crawls. Yep. Now, if we just hit play there. This is
there. We go.
High school. And we're just doing bear crawls. And there's me, 12 years older than him. And I yelled at him because I said, hey, coach, the beginning's behind you about 2 feet back, just to give him a hard time. But notice how he gets bunched up. Like his body's working in flexion. My body's working in extension. And you'll see this right here when I go up into a handstand and landing. And then we go to Valdovers. This is on YouTube. It's something you can look at. You can kind of make these things at home. You don't have to have this obstacle course. You could do this in the gym. I'll show you, for those of you who are new on here, if you go to my Instagram, the Brian Bradley, and remember, it's only the because Brian Bradley was taken by the hockey player at the Tampa Bay Lightning. But that guy who was bald that just came in behind me right there, he was 70-something, crushing this guy. And don't get me wrong, Jason's a good dude. He was just here. He's so self-deprecating. It's like working with Chris Farley, but only better shape. And, he's like, wow, I'm learning things. And that's my job, is to take these coaches and be their coach. And don't get me wrong, every coach, including myself, needs a coach. Pete Egoscue needs a coach. Tony Robbins needs a coach. That's why we work so well together, because I don't take it as, oh boy, I get to work with Tony Robbins. I've known him for well into past a quarter century, and I've been through a lot of stuff that he's been through. So, I've seen him through his ups and downs where it's been no fun. These guys, when they come to see us, they're just working with pro athletes and they're pushing them to the next level. And I believe they're making them worse. Which is why, Tony, you gotta look up and
you gotta what?
You gotta look at what happens to him when he goes backward. When I have him do this, and his arm has to come behind him.
Yeah, I wish I can control the sound on the video, on the YouTube video separately, but I can't.
Watch this when he goes up. I'm asking him to do a handstand. Did you see what he just did? So then I come in behind him through a handstand.
Damn.
I can't. Okay, now this one is the one that really was his game changer. His shoulder's so stuck. Look at his head. It's going to explode. But he's such a good dude. He's like, Brian, if I don't ever really understand what you need, how am I supposed to teach it to my customer? And I said, exactly. As a practitioner, it's like what Paul Chek said about nutritionists. If you can't teach nutrition without your shirt on, hang up your nutrition plaque on the wall. Get rid of it. Because it's got to be do as I do, not just do as I say. So looking at that, and we can get rid of that now because people know where to go. They can look at the Egoscue patch or just Jason Glass patch or whatever it is. And the whole idea behind that is trying to increase people's ability to get outside and move around. Southern California, we're going to be releasing the COVID-19 restriction. We'll be wearing masks, and I have a Chewbacca mask that I'll be wearing out in public just to drive people crazy. But Tony, when it comes down to freedom, when we get our freedom, people are going to go, I'm going to go out and just start moving. The problem is you've been sitting for 40 days and 40 nights. This is where it's going to bite you in the butt. So doing the one at 90 degrees, the one I told you, my authentic artwork, doing something like this.
Yeah.
Is a game changer for you at night.
Yep. Did it last night because my back was cranked last night.
Yeah. And how was it this morning?
It was a lot better. Better. I actually woke up, went outside and did it again.
Well, you save yourself $2,000, because at some point I'm dealing with somebody right now, sciatic pain down her leg, that's just been beside herself. When you get nerve pain like that, it's a big one. I'm working, one of my friends calls me up the other day and he has nerve pain down the front of his leg, and that's femoral nerve pain. You get femoral nerve pain, you're going to wish you had sciatic pain.
Wow.
Because it's that bad.
Wow. So what's the difference from one to the other? Not that we're going to get into that today, but
what the nerves innervate. Like, it's almost like the nerve is coming out of the lumbar spine, splits off, and it's like energy to the front, energy to the rear. Sciatica is more common, but when you get a rarity around like L1, L2, L3, which is your higher vertebrae in your lumbar spine, when you get an impingement in that area, you've never seen any guy, you've never even, as a dude, understand when, and guys will understand this, and I know we're all professionals, so when a guy just gets tapped in the nutsack, you get that nauseous feeling, that nerve.
Mm-hmm.
I have guys with nerve pain into their testicles of a 10.
Wow.
So you think COVID-19's bad? Yeah. Hook a blowtorch up to your balls. Yeah. And I'm not kidding, bro. That's one of those things you look at it. And for women, it's going to be, you've had people with endometriosis. I've watched them buckled over and they cannot move. Like, that kind of stuff is real. When we put them into a prone position, progressively moving them into a prone position, it's a game changer. Yeah.
Well, listen, just that 90-degree thing was great. And what you showed me the other day with that rolled up towel behind your back, underneath your spine, the curvature of your spine, another one behind your head. That one's nice too. I still got the towels wrapped up on top of my pool table because this is where I've been doing it.
Ideally, if somebody was in a severe back spasm and said, I couldn't get on the floor, I'd say lay some towels down on your pool table. And that's a perfect place to lay down. Because now it's like, okay, I can move over and roll off versus getting down, getting up. I understand there's people with that kind of severe back pain.
Yeah. Yeah. Some days the back pain is much worse than others. Like I said, there's a couple of go-to exercises that I've gotten from you over the years that has certainly helped, without a doubt. Katie says, she has endometriosis and had surgery last year.
Well, compared to where Katie was posturally a year ago, her endometriosis symptoms would have been way worse then than where she's at now. Her whole structural system has changed based on the work she puts in. Excuse me 1 second.
So I guess I've got to give you the song and dance. Katie, I'll pose that question to him afterwards. Can Egoscue cure endometriosis? I don't know if he can cure it, but I'm sure it can certainly alleviate the pain from it. Actually, Brian's back. Let's let him answer that one. Can Egoscue cure endometriosis?
No. Can Egoscue cure cancer? No.
No.
Can Egoscue make your cancer symptoms less? Because all you need is back pain when you're going through chemotherapy, and you're even worse. You don't need an add-on to a chemotherapy treatment. You don't need an add-on to endometriosis. You don't need an add-on to migraine headaches. And I will tell you, my brother-in-law does lung extraction, cancer extraction at Duke, and did heart transplants. And I went in and watched him do surgery, and it's unbelievable. He's looking into the scope. He's like, so we're going to tee off around noon, and then and I'm like, bro, pay attention. But he's so good, right? He's truly an artist. And he said, sometimes he'll have these people that have this severe pain, and he gives them the pain-free book from Pete. And he'll come back a week later. You breathing better? I'm not sure yet, doc, but my back pain's gone. Thank you so much. Like, it's that big of a deal. And you know how many millions of people suffer from that kind of stuff. That's the last
listen.
thing we need.
Yeah, that's something that I've suffered from, back pain. Hell, I mean, I told you I had a massive car accident. It would have been 20, 30 years ago.
So you were
this month.
Old.
Sorry?
So you were 2 or 3 years old?
Yeah, I was 3 years old. It's actually on my 18th birthday. I'm lucky to be alive. I went through the windshield, and the word F saved my life. As I turned to look at my cousin who was driving, I was ejected, but my hips kept me in the car. So trust me, I know back pain and shoulder pain, head, shoulder, knees, and toes. So I've dealt with that for a long time. And I've always done chiropractic treatments and stuff along the way, and that certainly helps. But the only thing that helps me long term is when I actually do my Egoscue exercises. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes I fall out of doing them, and then I'm reminded of that. So
well, Katie and I have talked about that. This isn't the Catholic Church, and I'm not the priest for confession. But you think to yourself, and you're the coach, right? You guys are the coaches listening
right.
a lot of times. So you're the NLP experts, you're the language, you're the mental, emotional. If you can find a way to relabel it, I got to do Egoscue. It takes 20 minutes. Ooh, it takes an hour. It takes this. But I swear to God, dude, if you can just change it to, I am refueling my body for tomorrow.
Yeah, I get to do. Listen, at the end of the day, you get to do that, right? You get to do that to improve your health. I posted this. This was yesterday's post.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Is so many times, we don't do what we know. And that's the one thing that to be honest, these last couple of weeks having you on Saturday has been great, because now I got my wife doing Egoscue. And, if I say my back hurts, she's like, well, get up and put your legs up. I'm like, yep. And I'll tell her to do the same thing. And so it's honestly, this has been great. This has been great having you on here. So thank you again, by the way. I don't think I thanked you yet today. So thank you for coming on here. I know you do this just for me.
I look at you as the other TR.
Well, I am, aren't I?
I think you should make a T-shirt that says, I'm the other TR.
I'm digging that. I think I'm going to do that. I probably won't be able to wear it over my trainer shirt because they'd be upset about that. But hey, I'm going with that. I'm the other TR. Because, well,
Hello, Tony. Yeah, this is Robin's Research Law Firm. You'll be like, oh, shit. I know what it is. But seriously, small things like this book, they talk about people in here, the oxygen advantage. One of the things about the oxygen advantage isn't about getting more oxygen. It's about actually getting less oxygen by creating more CO2 in the system, which then requires more O2 to balance it out. So instead of people going, let's hook up to an oxygen machine, it's, on a football field or something. Sometimes it's train your body. And I know a lot of people, I don't know a lot of people. I know in this book, there's a lot of people, I know 2 or 3 people that literally tape their mouth shut when they go to sleep.
What?
Yeah, they tape their mouth shut when they go to sleep. Now,
wait, hold on. Do they do it voluntarily, or is it the wife?
Well, in college, I had 2 or 3 incidents like that, but I was the one being duct taped. But it was it's not something I was against. But this is one of these things that is very interesting in the sense of they do it so it forces nose breathing, which is a whole different story about, you go back to the Wim Hof idea about changing the internal environment of each cell and each hormonal response to that. It's a very interesting book. It's by Patrick McCowan, but it's, the simple scientific proven breathing technique that will revolutionize health and fitness.
What's the title? Hold it up again. Let me see. What's the title of the book? Let me type it in here.
The Oxygen Advantage. Mercola on the back.
Who's the author? Patrick McCowan.
EOWN. I don't even know the guy, but I promoted from that idea. And then, like I said, the Viome. I mean, think about these 3 things. Just challenging the typical. This is CO2. is a positive. These glasses are mitochondria, how it reads the light coming through your eyes, creating a different response by your chemical hormonal system. The biome test for gut biome. You can train your brain, you can fix your brain book by Tom O'Brien, and the pain-free book. Like if you just said, look, I'm going to implement these 4 things. Take a cold shower every day, every other day, whatever. Shock the system. Work on your breathing. Get down into static back. Only brush and floss the teeth you want to keep, and pick up some of these glasses just to go. I know Brian will look like a dork, but I know that Luke Wren wears these, sometimes because it just changes your perception of what's around you.
Yeah, I've already lost a pair of those. I've lost a pair of those. I've broken a pair of some other ones that I had gotten that were comparable. Yeah, me and glasses, we don't get along so good, but I definitely got to try. I got to order them again. You got to tell me where to order those specific ones. Those look a little cooler than the ones I had before.
They come in these triangle cases that do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's non-smashable. It's the only way I've been able to protect them.
Nice. Well, then you just got to remember to put them back in the case. Katie said that she did the biome. So the biome is actually, I guess, a good thing just to know what's going on inside, right? Because what's going on inside affects everything that goes out on the outside.
No, and you look at it and go, I'm a young female. I'm in shape. I'm healthy. I bet that she found some things that were, wait a minute, my body's reactive to this. When you would think it would be gluten, some people come back and go, no, broccoli and cauliflower are crushing you.
Hold on. You got it. I don't know if she was on. Was she on last week? I'm not sure, but she's eating. Katie, now we're talking about. Katie's eating beef again. She's eating meat. So I don't know if we did this last week or not.
No, but it's and for the vegans and the vegetarians listening, don't be offended by that because I have vegetarian friends who were doing it for the PETA reasons. I understand that kind of stuff, right? I understand it. Animal health, animal cruelty, I get it. Then they had the biome test done, and this guy was hardcore vegetarian, worked out, but never really had any definition, And then he found out there were like 4 things that were inflaming him, and all of a sudden he was able to get so much more out of his workouts with less effort when he got rid of the inflammatory response.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's so important just to. I got to do that because we have this conversation. If I'm not mistaken, I've had it with Katie as well. She told me about the biome, and I've got to do that because it's so important to try to figure out, especially as we get older, right? Especially as we get older, it's so important to find out what's going on inside. To your point before that, as you get older, you're doing different things. And look, getting older is great. I just flipped the calendar last week, two weeks ago. I just flipped the calendar again, and I'm. Getting older is great. I love getting older. It's the aging that sucks, right? It's when your body starts to break down. So if we can get all these little hacks with the glasses and the Egoscue and all those little things, the biome and all those little things that help us to stay healthier, that's the point. The point isn't to get to the end of your life of your own accord and having lived, not just survived, right? You don't want to survive your way through life. At least that's my perception of it. By the way, I will say there's a few people saying hi. We're truly international now because I've got Alcione from Bolivia saying saludos, Tony and Brian, and now we just have Masaki from Japan saying hi to Brian and Tony. So we are all over. This is awesome.
Great.
This is awesome. Thanks. By the way, everybody else, tell us where you're from, except Katie. We know where you're from, Katie. No, I'm just kidding. But everyone, tell us where you're from. It's always fun to see and fun to know.
Do not get Katie started on where she's from. Super Bowl champs.
KC, yes, she's from her initials. We know that. Natalie says her tests showed sensitivity to lemons, and she used to drink lemonade or used to drink lemon every day. So it's good. So if you imagine that you're doing something every day that is supposed to be good for your health and really is to most people, but it has an adverse effect on you. To what Brian's been preaching over the last couple of weeks, he says talking about doing this exercise is really good for you. That exercise, it's good for you. But if your body doesn't like it and if it hurts you, don't do that one. So if lemons are really good and it neutralizes acid and pH balances and everything else, but if it's doing you harm, don't take it.
And listen, I've been hit up so has Pete Egoscue, like by every nutritional supplement company out there, because a lot of them come in from the MLM, and I understand that it's people don't have a problem with the multi-level marketing, and that's what they want to do, but that's not the business that I'm in. So I refer people out. Like my son's been taking chewable Juice Plus vitamins since the age of 2, and from a nutrition standpoint, I told Juice Plus this. I'm not one of your distributors, but I will flat out tell you the reason why my kid looked like this at the age of 14 compared to these other kids. That's him with his back to us.
What?
The muscle tissue at 14 compared to them.
He's 14?
14 in that picture.
Seriously, how many years did he stay back? And now you're still just saying he's 14.
Yeah, he was 14, but he's really 25. He's from but guys, I'll tell you,
I remember, by the way, when my back never looked like that.
That's why Brian Bradley won't be on Instagram without his shirt on.
Because your son.
Yeah, because he's like this. One day he said to me, he goes, hey, and he's up here, he's 6'2". He's like, what's up, little man? And I go, aw. And then I headbutted him super hard to the chest, knocked him on the couch, and I go, what's up? Dad strength.
Right. That's it.
Yeah,
so
and I
funny.
said something like, looking at that, she had some oxalate problems. And if you've ever had a kidney stone, you don't want oxalate problems, that's for sure. Like peeing a brick. But it's, she said you won't have as much gas. And that's very true, because the first time I was around her, all she did was flatulate the entire day. But I'm just kidding. She didn't. But she was, honestly, think about that. A young female having a conversation and she just feels bloated. Guys do it. We're like, man, I just ate that food and I'm just, oh my gosh, I'm bloated. But it's not that the food is, what if I told you from this book that it wasn't the lemons that were bad for you or anything like that? What if you found out that the inner lining of the intestinal wall, like a cheesecloth, Tony, had cuts in it that was allowing larger pieces of undigested food basically to enter the bloodstream early or something like that? That's what we're talking about in the book. Fascinating to me, because you can get rid of the food that comes up on your biome, like, hey, you shouldn't be on this and this and this, spinach, lemons, and all that. Maybe that'll help you heal the gut biome. Now you heal these cuts from, and how you get them are like antibiotics, ibuprofen chronically, drugs that we've done. When I say we, I mean you guys, because I haven't done one, or never inhaled, and the alcohol and stuff like that we do to ourselves. So you look at that kind of stuff and you think, wow, I wonder if it's not the food. It could be that my gut is reactive to the food. So they don't blame the food, get off the food, heal the gut, get back on the food. It's like, why do some people that smoke cigarettes live to 107 and never have a problem with it? Maybe their body has found an immunity to it, or something like that. I will tell you, there's a guy out of, there's a couple things I was on the other night. Somebody said, these are from Dave Asprey. And again, I don't sell these things, or they do. This is his coconut charcoal.
I've taken those before. They're supposed to be good for hangover. Not that I've ever drank before. Well, I did drink, but I didn't swallow.
I understand that. So it's it's good to taste the alcohol and then just spit it out. My kid just signed a D1 soccer contract the other day, and we gave him a shot of Patron afterward. And he's like, I don't want to do this. And he shot it, and he's like, oh, all dinner. He's like, my stomach's burning. I'm like, welcome to some people love that stuff every day, dude. So when you let that gut heal, then you can sometimes get back on that food. There is a product that from a doctor. Let me see if I have a picture of him. He's I think he's about 85 years young.
You don't have to tell us your real age, Brian. We know you look good.
Thank you. But his name's Dr. Prasad, and I can't find it, but he's 85 years young, and it fascinated me the way his energy was and the way he He just responded to things. So he goes, look, I'm not in the business of just building a business. I don't care about the business. That's this guy's job. What I do care about is, am I putting out a product that helped the U.S. Army, the NASA, and all that stuff? So there's another one of these that I know there's a person in New York who got me onto this 2 years ago. It's called Micro Daily, and there's another one called Brain Boost. And again, I don't sell these things, but they're, hey, what does Brian do? This is what I do. Not that you guys care, but that's one of the things that's a staple for me in the morning and one at night, because it really helps me from the micronutrient standpoint. And I think that it heals the gut biome. Secondly, there's another one of these called Micro Daily Plus that has CBD, and it's all US based. I love that he US based it. And I love that he didn't go gung-ho on more CBD, because I don't do CBD, but some people do. I had 6 people with autoimmune disorders go on it, and not one of them came back and said it didn't work. One lady said after 7 days, I don't feel anything. And I said, okay, keep on it for 30 days. Call them back because I know they do a money back thing. Call them. It's their issue, blah, blah, blah. I'm just recommending it. 30 days later, she came back and said, I don't know what it is, but I have another step in my giddy up here. I'm doing this. And she's like 68 and owns a restaurant. And I'm going, I can try to talk her into eating healthy, but at 68, sometimes they're going, I'm eating my Iranian food that she's making, unbelievable food, by the way. But yet to her, it's, I don't want to not be able to eat something because that's the business she's in. You clean up your gut, it cleans up your brain. You clean up your gut, it helps your immunity. You clean up your gut, it helps your hormones. It helps your chemical reactions in your cells. And Tony, I can give you something that's, I don't even know what the website is, but I'll get you the website for those if people want to know about it. And because he didn't go multi-level marketing is the only reason why we were talking. I didn't want to convolute anything with that kind of stuff. And he, that guy's just a good dude, which by the way, someday we can get him on your show, because he would give you a very interesting scientific discussion as it relates to the products.
No, absolutely. Listen, I'd love it. As a matter of fact, people are asking where they can get this stuff. So maybe, just so we don't take the time now, but maybe offline, you can send me the list and I'll post it here of what the products are. Oddly enough, I started taking Juice Plus a couple of weeks ago because we all Lauren Lahav, she's a distributor for it, and she said, "Oh, you got to try it." And I signed up as a distributor, but I'm not doing the business. But I've been taking the vitamins, and honestly, I feel good. My kids are getting the vitamins. So a really cool part of that is, if the adult's getting the vitamins, the kids get them for free. So it's even, double whammy. So it's really good stuff.
It really is. Listen, I've known about that product for years. I was just never into the MLM, and I love it. And she built a whole conglomerate around that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, she's killing it.
Yeah, she's killing it. And that product is not a joke. The chewables were really good for the kids because, you taste them, you're like, oh my God, is this a Sour Patch Kid? And, so I'll give them 3 or 4 of the vegetable things at night. And my kid is a not potatoes. My kid's a rice, chicken, beef kind of kid, never really got into greens, just quit eating it around the age of 4 or 5. And I'm like, okay, you can do that, but I'm going to mega dose stuff into you that you don't even know. You'll think it's candy, but it's helping you. And it's been an unbelievable thing.
Wait, I got to acknowledge someone. Jeanette just came on and said she is the first-time viewer and is grateful for both of us. Awesome. Welcome, Jeanette. Hopefully this isn't the only time. Brian, be on your best behavior. Okay.
I won't ruin it. We're off to a good start.
So listen, one of the things that came to mind when we were talking about, the lemons and doing this and doing that and how sometimes eating the right foods is wrong. It reminds me of a statement, and this is so true, both in your diet and in your life and in business and everything else. And this is something to remember, that doing the right thing at the wrong time is still the wrong thing, right? So try to figure out what it is that's going on in your system, trying to figure out what it is that you're allergic to. I took an allergy, I already did an allergy spectrum. I'm probably gonna have to do another one just to see how much further I can go with it, because I just did the basic stuff. But there's a lot of really good information out there, and there's so many studies, so many products. We are in the information age, and there's so much available to us from what is it? 21 and me, 23. Does it help me out here?
or something.
23andMe, something like that, where they check your DNA and see what you're more predisposed to. There's so much technology out there right now. There's so many ways of figuring out what the best thing is for us to do for our health and everything else. Because look, at the end of the day, it's longevity. And there's so many people doing so much great stuff. Peter Diamandis, I was watching him the other day. I forget exactly when it was. And he says, listen, there's a lot of great stuff coming down the pike. And, this guy's got all like nanotech in him. He's being measured, everything that he does. I mean, probably how much oxygen he's taking in with every breath. Who knows? He just says, listen, don't do anything stupid for the next 10 years and you'll be fine, because the technology in health is going accelerating at such a great speed that we're going to be able to see it's going to be normal for people to live to 90 and over 100, where that's not really a normal thing now. And, arguably that's a really good thing, arguably, I guess. But, just there's so much information out there. So just get your hands on it, figure out what it is. And Jeanette, great that this is your first time watching. I'll come back on here and I'll tag you on a couple of these previous ones, because now we're really talking about health. And normally what Brian comes on and talks about is the Egoscue method, which is really just about getting your body aligned. Not like a chiropractor, but getting your body aligned by doing some simple exercises that put your body back in balance. And listen, by all means, you jump in and bail me out anytime, Brian. But I know this is probably like a test if I'm paying attention. But it really is about balancing your body out and getting the right muscles to do the right work, so that you can take the pressure off of other things, and firing the right muscles so that it can alleviate pain. Because the majority of the pain that we deal with is because we have the wrong muscles doing the wrong thing to compensate for the ones that are not doing what they're doing. Did I do a good job, Brian?
You did. One thing I will add to that is, a lot of times people will judge their posture. Like, let's say this was everybody who has kids, or let's say you guys ended up in a position like this, and your body says,
it's crazy.
Chronic pain. Okay. And if you can get it to the point where that's you a year later, then the pain wasn't a detriment. It was just a signal for you to finally start listening to yourself. So, those of you with kids, if you had a young girl,
I was going to say, pull up that picture of that young girl that was so twisted that it was scary.
Yeah, that was an awesome one, because when the young girl makes a call like this, you had a daughter who walked downstairs at 13 years old and looked like that. As a parent, you're going, wow, right? 2 weeks later, after she accepted the work.
Amazing.
We're not getting her to zero. I'm not straightening out that spine. But I'll tell you what we're going to do. She no longer thinks she's broken. She no longer thinks she's the only, oh, wow, I'm in middle school. I got to wear a brace. Great. Middle school is hard enough. Throw a kid in a brace.
Yeah, right.
What I had her look at was, congratulations, you have scoliosis. High five. Well, what do you mean? I have scoliosis. Yeah, scoliosis is a gift. You're the only 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 17-year-old, 13-year-old who is going to be taking care of themselves, especially as your menstrual cycle hits and your body is all over the place, from a hormonal standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, absolute game changer. While you're looking at that, I'm actually trying to pull up the email from when you were on here with Greg from New York.
Yep.
And just so I can pull up.
Let me pull up another picture then while you're.
Because that one, that picture of me, of what you guys did with me was amazing.
Okay, guys.
Trying to figure out Greg.
This is Tony on that day.
Oh, you got it. Okay, I just pulled it up as well. Hold on, let me go back to your screen.
All right, that's not you, Tony. That's one of my clients, billionaire client out of Mexico, and he knows we're using these pictures. He doesn't care. No joke. Same guy.
Wow. And that's not just lighting, right? That's his actual back.
Buddy.
Holy.
I'm like, I asked him when he was giving birth. I'm like, when are you giving birth out of your upper back? But, it's no different than this.
Yeah, that's so crazy. That is so crazy. So here, look, actually, Jeanette, our new audience member says, wow, my oldest daughter has 4 rods and 30 plus screws right now. Holy cow.
Okay, so you say holy cow, I say awesome. I cannot wait to see her on Zoom and get her to understand that the older she gets, she'll be the only 40-year-old in her group of friends that has put 20 years, because I'm assuming this girl's probably 15 to 30 years young, and we can do some work with her, and it's going to be an amazing thing. Because otherwise she thinks, oh, I'm always going to have back problems because I have 30 screws and this and this and this. Okay, we'll work around it. So whoever that came from, if that was from
Jeanette.
Who?
Jeanette.
Okay.
So,
Jeanette, get you my, my direct email or something like that. Looking for all your guys. I told you guys this already, that I have a team over here in Del Mar that and clinics all over the place. We had a big meeting on Wednesday, and I'm having another one on Wednesday with 100 employees from all around the country, and just said we're adopting a new MO, which I've always had, which used to piss my corporate team off, which was, yeah. I'm like, what do you mean, yeah? I go, the answer is yes. Can you get on Tony's show? Yeah, no problem. Can you do this podcast? Yeah, no problem. Can you help this lady with 30 screws? Yeah, let me take a look. So now my new motto is, let us take a look. We'll give you the no BS assessment, and it's on us, because right now is the time for giving.
Right.
If your listeners are listening to Scott Martin on Mondays, then they know it's a time for giving.
Yeah.
And we've always done it, but kind of kept it quiet because, well, if we give too much, what about this? I'm like, oh boy, if we give too much, we might have too many raving fans. Guess what happens to business then? Like, it's just a whole different philosophy.
It's a different. Listen, it's the philosophy of giving and contribution and social entrepreneurship. That's where we're at right now. And the more you give, the more you get. And it's no more true in today's world, especially with the current situation that we're going through, right? It's
Wait, say that again.
The current situation.
Yes, make sure everybody heard that. That was not a mistake. That we're going through.
Right. So Jeanette says she's 23 as of April 8th. Hey, I'm an April baby too. Good. That's awesome. But I'll get you. So you want to, what's the best, give me the website again. I should know this by heart, but what's the website again? Just egoscue.com or what's an email?
Egoscue.com/digital. And that'll come to myself and another person out here in San Diego. And then we'll get you hooked up with our people in New York, in Boston, in Denver, in Atlanta, in Austin, in Boulder, in Chicago, and 8 up the West Coast, that kind of stuff. That'll come directly to us. A lot of the clinics aren't open right now, especially our New York clinics. I think Boston's closed too. I'm not sure. But the digital stuff that we're doing is not a joke. Like, it's we have this stuff in place, so none of our businesses are closed.
Hey, don't be surprised if I start getting involved with you too, by the way, just something that's in the works. Jeanette says, oh my God, she's having such pain currently. She's very, very grateful. Awesome. So just listen, go on to egoscue.com/digital and you'll be able to find a contact there to be able to email. And Brian is such a great, just such a great asset, and someone that you can certainly send that out to, and whether it's Brian or someone else from the team, depending where you are. Where are you located, Jeanette?
I know Anna was on there and she's in the New York area, but we can do it from anywhere digital, but I'll get you hooked up with the right people around you. The key is to understand that it's, once you see it, then you got to make a decision from that point. Do I go get the pain-free book? Do I want to do just the exercises from some of the other shows with Tony? Write down in there, Tony Rodriguez, Get Up and Grow, or just Get Up and Grow, or the other TR, something like that.
Awesome. So listen, I did pull up that email, so I'm gonna share this with you, and this is, I really enjoy it. Yeah, I want to show this because it was so powerful, and this is just after doing 2 exercises. So check it out. So the picture I want to have you guys really focus on is that last picture. So look at where that dot is and how far off out of alignment I am. Can you see that?
Where it is. The reason why it's off is because if he goes all the way down to his feet, that line is right between the heels because the foot doesn't move. Like, I can move my shoulders, but once your feet are on the ground, so we put it right in the 50-yard line between the heels, and then we align it up, and then where your body is lined up or not aligned up.
Yeah. So you can see even like from the front, but really this shirt that Brian was giving me a hard time for wearing. Actually, you see that? So check that out. That's that one. No, check out the next picture. And this is after like 5 minutes. Look at that last picture. How crazy is that? Now I'm still out of alignment, right? But look how much closer I am to center than I was when I first started. And that was literally within 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
The key is it's not Jesus with the lepers. You got to put in some work. This is not those miracles. And I'll come up with, for those of you that don't believe, I'll come up with another analogy. But so it's a, mindset is, can I get help now? Yeah, you can get help now, but it does take a little bit of work. It's the same reason why you brush and floss your teeth, because you want to keep them. You don't really know if it's doing anything, but there's a faith tied to, I put in a little work, I get a payoff. I maintain my oil in my car, it's not going to bite me when I'm driving. I make sure the lug nuts are tight, the wheel won't fall off. Just do a little bit of maintenance.
That's it. Make sure the lug nuts are tight. I like it. By the way, Jeanette's in Houston.
Oh, I have a clinic on 601 Sawyer.
So there you go.
We're going to open.
Yeah. So that's, again, I love the impact that we're making. But yeah, it's so good. So, and again, those pictures that I just showed, those are literally within maybe 10 minutes. If you go back and watch that show, it's 10 minutes. And to quote David Meerman Scott, you too can get similar results. We've heard that.
What we're doing from a marketing standpoint, we're going to be putting some stuff into Dave Asprey's from Bulletproof. Dave Asprey has a thing called Dave Asprey's box, where they send out a quarterly box of biohacking stuff. So you might get a pair of True Darks, a brain boost if it's in there,
cool.
In it, or one of the charcoal bottles. So you pay like $100 every quarter, and you'll get whatever percentage. So I'm going in from a standpoint of, let me take a look. Here's your postural assessment. But the cool part is that everybody's doing their part, even if it's just from a minimalist standpoint, just to say, here's what we believe in. Maybe the coconut charcoal from the Bulletproof products, from the labs. I love that stuff. For me, it's every single morning Bulletproof coffee. Again, I don't sell it. I just love it. If you ask me, what is Brian doing? This is what Brian does.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing. I actually did message. I sent Dave Asprey a message on Instagram just 2-3 days ago. Invited him to come on Tony Talks. So yeah, hopefully he'll be joining us soon. So that's really, really good, man. Thank you for that, by the way, because I didn't know. Look, I'm always looking, because I'm the person that's always looking for the edge, right? What else can I learn? Where else can I grow? What else can I do that's going to improve my life and my longevity, right? And really, it's about having a life that you can enjoy, and not just a life that you're surviving. To go back to that term. So yeah, so it's all good.
Look, it's one of these things where people, and Katie will be she can chime in here, and anybody else. It's a matter of choice, and a lot of people don't feel like they have a choice. I'm stuck. I'm 1 in 6. I lost my job. We can't just say it's a great thing you lost your job. It's an opportunity. They're going to be like, yeah, fuck you. I lost my job. But at the same time, we could get them to understand, I know this is a big F you, but at the same time, what if something else is out there? Have you ever thought, because you're on my show, like you could tell them that, because you're on my show, Tony, have you ever thought about going into helping other people who are in this? I've always wanted to be a coach. Well, okay, here's some avenues through Robbins to get this kind of stuff done. And before they were an accountant.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the Ben Affleck accountant, because if that's what accountants really got to do, then I would have.
I'm down. I'll take the class.
Yep.
15.
Yeah, good point, Katie. We all get to choose how we show up, and every moment is like that. That's right. And you can't read too much. And I'm not saying you have to read a 75, 85, 200-page book at once. Go back and read a chapter a day of Man's Search for Meaning. Go back and read the 4 Agreements once a month. I guarantee that you're going to pick up some new things, because you're in a different mental mindset 30 days from where you are now. You may perceive something from the book a little differently.
Yeah, and how are you feeling? What's going on in life? Are you suffering? Are you dealing with struggles here or there. People say all the time, man, how many UPWs did you go to with Tony Robbins? How many events did you go with Tony Robbins? I said, listen, every time I go, even now as a trainer, I go as a trainer and I'm helping people go through the event. I still pick up something new, maybe because, and sometimes it comes from the interactions that I have with the participants, right? Because I'm teaching them something, or I'm sharing something, or I'm helping them through something, and I come to a new realization with the same material that I've gone through. So listen, we're always growing and we're always evolving, and hopefully we're evolving. Hopefully we're growing, because if you're not growing, you're dying, as Tony says, right? If you're not, if anything in your life, if your business isn't growing, it's dying. If your relationship isn't growing, it's dying. If your health, well, first of all, we're all dying. We're all dying from the day we're born, right? That's the reality. But the idea is to die young, just as late as possible, right? Is to die young as late as possible. I heard that one many years ago, and I love that line. The goal is to die young as late as possible. You don't want to die old, young, because there's people that die old, young. Right. And we're not here. Tomorrow is not promised. There's only today. And Eckhart Tolle was on yesterday on this thing that Tony Robbins was on today. And he talks about there is the now, which is funny because I was just having this conversation with a client. And I said, there is not actually with Tanya Young yesterday. I had Tanya on the show, Tanya Thomas, I should say. I had her on the show yesterday and we were talking about it. And I said, there is, the past is in the past. It's gone. Nothing you can do about it. There is only the present. And the reality of it is, what I just said is already in the past. And what I just said is already in the past. And what I just said is already in the past, right? So the present is a fleeting moment. So we've got to enjoy being and just being here. Listen, I lost a friend yesterday that I still don't know what happened. 50-something years old. Really, and I've got the chills because he was a good dude. He's one of those guys that we'd be hanging out and he's like one of those guys you want to hang out with, right? And the guy that, I saw a Facebook message yesterday saying that he died. And I'm still kind of, it shook the hell out of me last night because, he was 3 or 4 years older than I am, and he's gone. And he's got, granted his kids are already in the early 20s, but he's gone. And he's a young guy in good shape. And, one of these guys that never did a lot of personal development, but he got it. You had these conversations with him. I love having conversations with people that get it, right? That understand the practical psychology of things and how to improve and how to grow and how to live. And he was one of these guys. Anyway, going down a rabbit hole here, but the reality of it is,
good point. This is belief. Nothing you do, anything you believe in. For example, I brought up the Juice Plus vitamins. I brought up the micro daily stuff. I know that I was looking for things in my body to do this and then say, wow, okay, I have faith that that's good for me. I'm a huge fan of the placebo effect. So if I can take that and go, yeah, I'm really helping myself out. It just helped myself out. Now you can't do that if I'm doing it with Quaaludes, I'm helping myself out in another way, I guess. Tony, you'll have to tell me more about that. But looking at it from the standpoint of people's faith, and I don't care who you believe in. I really don't. I don't get upset at that kind of stuff. My mother, when she was passing last year, she was talking about some stuff, and she goes, "Why is God doing this to me?" I said, "Hold on," and I picked up the phone. I'm like, "Hold on, Mom." She's like, "What?" Oh, I go, "Hold on." Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, she did. She just said that. Okay, I'll tell her. Bye-bye. I said, God's pissed. And she's like, "Oh, you're such a jerk." And I said, "Mom, you can't take it that seriously. God is not out to get you. If anything, let's choose to look at it this way. He's given you liver problems with tubes coming out of it because he wants you and you're afraid to go. Yet you're so faithful. You're such a faithful person in God, but you're afraid to go? It's not what
fascinating.
You're thinking when they're preaching this stuff, and you've been preaching that stuff to us forever. So I'm a recovering Catholic. I get it. So I look at that. Me too. Yeah, we all are. And I love people believing in some type of faith because it takes ego and steps it to the side. meaning you believe in spiritual, you believe in Buddha, you believe in Allah, you believe in Christ, you believe in whoever, I don't really care. And when you believe in something else, you don't believe in just you selfish prick, right? Like it's one of those things, if you're just believing in you, then I don't know what to tell you about that. It's kind of empty. But even my friends, my Jewish friends, we joke around about stuff all the time. We did Mazel Tov at my wedding. We put the stuff on the ground. Best man was Jewish, and in the middle of Pennsylvania, a small town, and so we just had fun with things like that. But when you lose your faith, or you say, well, only the Catholics are going to heaven, and I'm like, really, Mom? And she's like,
right. My mom is the same way. I'm like, why? What are you talking about? I love that you did that at your wedding. So, like a friend of mine, Jerry, you probably know who Jerry is. He says he's Jewish because he's got a lot of Jewish friends, and he does a lot of. So he's like, I'm Jewish. But listen, man, I'm so down with that. The reality of it is, it's faith over fear, right? I said it today to someone that, faith and fear both demand that you believe in something that you cannot see, right? So you got to choose faith over fear. And that's what I've been kind of preaching, so to speak, over these last several weeks during this situation. And you've got to really just believe that it's going to be okay. And you're coming out the other side. And, there's a placebo effect that you were talking about. I also believe that there's something, I think it's called the placebo effect, where you think that something's going to get you, and it does. Yeah. Right? If you think that if you get this, you're going to die, you've got a better chance of dying from it than if you believe that you're going to get healed. Right.
Yeah, people with cancer who could choose either path too. And I know it's not just maybe the mental side, but there's a website if you guys want to go and check this out. This was freaking amazing. And I know we got to cut this short here in a couple minutes.
Listen, I've got a few more if you do.
If you guys want to, and Tony, if you can put this up there too, because this is one of my friends back in Pennsylvania. It's called the Emily Whitehead Foundation. And it's WHITEHEAD Foundation, Emily Whitehead Foundation. And I don't know if it's .org or anything like that, but just Google it. Here's how I sell what they did to her. Yeah, they gave her AIDS and it cured her leukemia. And they're like, I'm sorry, what? And I'm like, yeah, they gave her AIDS and cured her leukemia. Now, the truth is they used the HIV to train her blood, re-injected it back into her body. I'm paraphrasing, and it fought the leukemia and cured it.
Wow.
And now they're making there's a book that's going to be out. There's a movie that's going to be done. They have like 1,000 kids around the world that have been cured by this thing. And it is unbelievable. The stories that you'll hear from her mom and dad, who are good friends of mine. And it's just one of these things that I can't speak highly of. When my mom, I was at UPW Newark last year in Newark, New Jersey. You remember that, like November. Yep. And I got a call from my sister I flew in on a Thursday morning. They were getting ready to do the fire walk. And I was there with one of my guys I work with, Michael. And we got to go in and set up the booth that night, get ready for the next day, do some talks and all that. And I get a call from my sister and said, I don't think Mom's going to make it past the weekend. And I said, come on. I go, Lisa, you're a nurse. Tell me the truth. She goes, I'm not kidding. This is the worst I've seen her. I said, okay, I will, I'll be out of here. I said, Michael, I got to have you set up the booth. I'll be back on Saturday night for Sunday when I go on stage to talk. We had 14,000 people. And I was driving through Pennsylvania 4 hours away. And, you're playing this in your head. What if she dies now? You know what? I'm a quality son. I'm a quality brother. I'm a quality dad. I'm not a quantity son, quantity dad, quantity brother. Quantity doesn't mean quality. So that when I'm around people, I try to make an experience for them and for me, because I'm a selfish bastard. So I was in the car driving through the snow, the rain, whatever was happening, and I pulled in around 2 a.m. and everybody's up there. We have hands on my mom's body, and I'm not kidding. She's out. She's gray. Just unbelievable, the differences. And when I held her hand and I said to her, Mom, I'm here. And she goes, and she kind of gave a half mouth smile like she had Bell's palsy or something. And I said, Mom, listen, I need to be very clear about this. And I have 4 brothers and sisters who are there. And I'm such a dick. I said, listen, it's Friday morning around 2 a.m. I said, this is good. This is good that we're all here together. I love this. Death always brings a family reunion back together. you can die today, you can die Saturday, or you can die Monday. But Sunday, I have 14,000 people that I got to do a talk in front of. It's not convenient for me. She gave a laugh. My sister smacks me, blah, blah, blah. We go through this thing. People barely slept. And at 11:40 a.m. on Saturday morning, she passed. And you think about it, I said, son of a gun. I'm like, she did it. She's given me enough time. And I packed my brother up. I said, we're going to Newark for the Tony Robbins thing. I'm not letting you sit here in this house while my other 3 sisters are packing things up and they're keeping themselves busy to keep themselves sane. And I said, I can't just all of a sudden, hey, mom's gone, let's start packing shit up. I was freaked out. So I got in the car, drove over there, and we had an amazing Sunday together, came back, ate McDonald's on the way home, stopped at Dunkin' Donut for 2 dozen donuts, ate every freaking one of them. You know, it was like one of those things, just make yourself feel good, which really about killed us. And then we got in the house and went through the rest of the stuff. And my brother's like, you know, I knew what you did, but to see what you do is amazing, because you're taking someone's belief system. Even at a downtime for me, it was so uplifting to be able to serve 12,000 people. You know, and you either get off on this stuff or you don't. I love it. Tony, the original TR, Tony Robbins loves it. Sage Robinson loves it. They're about service. They're about giving. You, Katie, and everybody else that I know on here. Like, this is not a joke that we're surrounded by people who we choose to surround ourselves with. So anybody new on here, you need to stay, because as we keep doing this and as his other guests are on here, it's well worth it. I don't hang out with people that aren't worth my time. It's just not going to happen. And Tony knows that. It's just, we've talked a lot off screen and stuff, but listen, I've talked long enough, but it's, you know, it's not a sob story, because one more thing, my sister Erica, you know, who, I don't know if she listened to this, but she's my youngest sister, and she's always been a giver and taking care of other people. And she's in there, and she's the one that smacked me across the head when I told my mom, you can die on this day because it's inconvenient. Because she couldn't handle the humor in a very emotional, dramatic situation. Well, that's how I deal with it. And I said, Erica, you know, this is what we do. We're all hanging out, and I'm checking her pedal pulse on her foot. My sister's up at her carotid, and we're just hanging out, talking to her mom. It's okay, you can go. Erica says, I can't handle this anymore. She stands up and leaves the room. This is the girl who took care of my mom for the past 10 years. My mom died 45 seconds later. And so when she comes back in, she's like, oh my God, I wasn't here for her. And I said, yeah, you can choose to be selfish and make it about you. Or Erica, what if mom knew that she had to pass when you weren't in the room for you to be able to handle it better? And that was that shift. That was that 2 millimeter what if.
Good for you, brother.
And I relate this to what if about Pete Egoscue talking about this. What if your degenerative hip is here to tell you something? What if your foot pain that I know you can't move? What if that shoulder? What if digestive issues? What if cancer? What if this is just a signal for you to slow down and take care of yourself?
Love it. Dude, love it. And that message is so on point. What if? So I think we're going to leave you guys with that. What if? Just remember that life is happening for you, even those difficult moments. We don't understand. We don't know what they are. Like I said, I just lost someone, a friend yesterday, and you know, I've lost, unfortunately, a few people that were there. You know, some extended family and some people that I knew to this, you know, this thing that's been going on. And so there's a lot of that. But what if, aside from those things, right? Aside from that, what if? So I'll leave you with that, man. That's a great one.
I'll leave you guys with it. That's my
beautiful.
So bitchin'.
Beautiful, brother. Beautiful. Listen, I appreciate you sharing that story with us. I appreciate you for who you are and what you do, and for showing up here when you do, and for your heart, because you've got a huge heart, man. I appreciate that's what I love about you. And thank you for that comment about quality people. I am the same way. I have, you know, we all have to choose to elevate, you know, our peer groups so that, you know, we surround ourselves with those who we want to surround ourselves with. Our vibe attracts our tribe. So just make sure you keep your vibe high and you attract the right people, spend the right time, the time with the right people in your life. And Jeanette, I invite you and everyone that's here to join me every day, at least during this, as we wrap this up. This might go to just a couple of days a week because it does take a little bit to get this going, right? So I do appreciate everyone being on here, and do share this video if you feel so compelled. I'd appreciate it, and check us out on YouTube, and certainly subscribe there as well. So you can find Brian, obviously you already know, at Egoscue.com, the Brian Bradley on Instagram and on Facebook. And Brian, any parting words?
We have the Instagram for @Egoscue Method. The Facebook is the Egoscue Method. But anytime you're on there, I get so many DMs from people. You're not bothering me. To give me some time to get back to you, because I'm just dumb enough to not know when I have to check it versus having the signals to tell me. But
you're better off that way, by the way.
No, I agree. But look, anything that I can do to help out, we're gonna do our best.
I appreciate you. So just hang on there. Don't go away. Everyone, thank you again for coming. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with us, because I know your time, our time, everyone's time is the most valuable asset that we have. And remember, here's what I want to leave you with, that the idea of life is to die young as late as possible. So do your Egoscue, take your vitamins, do the biome test, do those life hacks that it's going to improve the quality of your life so you can die young as late as possible. And remember, my friends, that life is not about how many times you fall. It's about getting up after every fall, because you fall down 7 times, you get up 8, and every single time you fall, you have the opportunity to get up and grow we must. Appreciate you all, and see you guys tomorrow.
Bye,
Ciao
guys.
for now.